Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Philippine Navy expands fleet with modern missile-capable vessels. Philippines and France set to sign visiting forces agreements. President Marcos signs 6.793 trillion peso 2026 budget. EDSA busway lane reopens.
A pleasant day to all our viewers, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo in Quezon City. Today is Tuesday, January 6, 2026, and this is AFP Community News, your trusted source for updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rofh Suzon-Abay, here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, the Philippine Navy said its fleet expansion is progressing well with the commissioning of new guided missile frigates and fast attack craft. Navy officials said the Miguel Malvar-class frigates and Acero-class vessels significantly strengthen maritime defense and patrol capabilities. The service said the new ships can operate up to the exclusive economic zone and feature the most modern weapons and systems in the fleet. The Philippine Navy added that the acquisitions reflect its commitment in protecting national interests and maritime security.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippines and France are set to finalize a visiting forces agreement to deepen defense cooperation. According to Philippine Navy spokesperson at the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad, two countries are likely to sign the pact in early 2026 following negotiations approved by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The Department of National Defense earlier said the agreement aims to enhance military interoperability and support the regional peace and stability. Once concluded, the deal will make France the first European country to secure a visiting forces agreement with the Philippines.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
And now on the other line, let us hear more from Amy about Philippine Navy ship patrols northeastern Mindanao waters.
The Philippine Navy deployed BRP Alberto Navarrete on a maritime patrol along the northeastern coast of Mindanao. Operating under Naval Forces Eastern Mindanao, the vessel covered Butuan Bay, Dinagat and Siargao Islands, and nearby sea approaches. The Philippine Navy said the patrol aimed to enhance maritime domain awareness, sustain naval presence, and secure vital sea lanes. Officials added that the operation helps deter illegal fishing, smuggling, and other maritime security threats in the region. This is Ami reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Amy.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Classes at Occidental Mindoro National High School were suspended Monday morning following a peace rally in Mamburao. Provincial officials said the suspension aimed to ensure the safety of students and school personnel amid the heightened security. Residents, youth, and indigenous people held the rally days after an armed encounter in Abra de Ilog. Local authorities deployed police and barangay tanods, reporting no untoward incidents during the activity.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Relatedly, the National Task Force and local communist armed conflict vowed not to allow the Abra de Ilog clash in Occidental Mindoro to be used as propaganda by communist supporters. NTF-ELCAC Executive Director Undersecretary Ernesto Torres Jr. said the public deserves the full context of the January 1 encounter, especially amid the allegations of rights violations. Torres said authorities' findings indicate the fatality had already been recruited by the NPA, calling the incident a tragedy of radicalization. He added that the task force remains focused on recovering other students involved and protecting communities that reported abuses by armed rebels.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
From NOLCOM, let us hear some information from Joanne. Ifugao PTFL-CAC tackles development plans for covered barangays.
Members of the Provincial and Municipal Task Force to End Local Communities Armed Conflict, or PTF-LCAC, conducted a retooled Community Support Program, or RCSP Convergence Forum, to discuss the possibility of responding to development and other needs of barangays. The activity aimed to ensure that the barangay development plans of the 2025 LCAC covered barangays, namely Ambasa, Pieza, and Magulon in Lamot and Barangay Bulog in Kiangan, are linked to the local development plans of the municipal as well as the provincial local government units. The Department of the Interior and Local Government Ifugao disclosed that the 4 barangays have submitted project proposals for funding in 2026 under the Local Government Support Fund support to the Barangay Development Program. The proposed projects include the opening, rehabilitation, and concreting of farm-to-market roads, household electrification, provision of safe water systems, and the construction of daycare centers, barangay health facilities, and other essential infrastructures. Meanwhile, the PTF-LCAC, in a joint resolution with the Provincial Peace and Order Council and the Provincial Anti-Drug Abuse Council, recommended to the Sangguniang Pandalawigan that the province be declared in a state of stable internal peace and security. This is John Sagak reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne, from NOLCOM.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Department of Budget and Management assured that salary increases and retirement benefits of uniformed personnel, teachers, and government workers will not be affected or delayed by the 2026 national budget. The agency said no funds were cut, clarifying that reported 24 billion pesos was only realigned to the proper agencies to speed up benefit releases. DBM stressed that salaries, pay hikes, and pensions of current civilian and uniformed personnel remain fully funded. It added that only the hiring timeline of new employees may affect the payouts, while the government continues to ensure responsible and efficient use of public funds.
DWDD National News.
And now for our national news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. enacted the General Appropriations Act for 2026 in a ceremonial signing held in Malacanang. Marcos assured the national budget is aligned with the administration's medium and long-term development plans and vision, reflecting the investment in the Filipino. He added that the passage of the national budget is only the beginning, as they commence with the most difficult task to ensure the proper execution and instituting the proper accountability. The Bicameral Conference Committee ratified the GAA on December 29, 2025. The thorough review conducted by the executive branch led to the slight delay of the signing of the bill, which resulted in the government cooperating on a reenacted budget for the first few days of 2026.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
And now from Jimboy, updates about 3rd CMO Battalion joins the community run in Iloilo.
The 3rd Civil Military Operation Battalion joined the Valtoro Run Iloilo at Sunset Boulevard in Iloilo City, led by Lieutenant Colonel Ricardo Villaruel III. The unit ran alongside civilians to promote health, wellness, and community engagement. Army personnel display unity and camaraderie during the event with participants from various sectors. The battalion said the activity is strengthening civil-military relation and partnership with local communities. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Jimboy.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Agriculture said it will ensure that the 6.793 trillion national budget, which seeks to strengthen the agriculture sector, will relay the benefits farmers and the fishers. DA Secretary Francisco Chularal Jr. vowed to look into the approved funding as the boosted support for the sector will enhance the local food production and lead to long-term food security. Chularal said they're happy that the budget has finally been released, but they still need to review what the final version entails. The agriculture chief underscored the need for careful scrutiny to ensure that farmers and fishers, as well as consumers and other key stakeholders across the value chain, will benefit from the 2026 General Appropriations Act.
DWDD National News.
Senate leaders expressed support for President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s decision to veto 92.5 billion worth of items under the unprogrammed appropriations of the 2026 national budget. Senate President Vicente Soto III said the proposed 2026 budget was already the cleanest ever, but noted that the president wanted it squeaky clean. Meanwhile, Senate President pro tempore Panfilo Lacson said that while he was still checking which specific UA items were vetoed, only 2 items were necessary to retain. Lacson explained that unprogrammed appropriations are non-cash items that may only be used under the strict conditions provided in the law, including the presence of excess non-tax revenues, accompanying revenue measure, or an approved loan.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
From our report on the ground, let us hear the report of Marian about AFP warns public against fake video on security alliances.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines warned the public against a circulating YouTube video that falsely claims a reversal of the country's security alliances. The military said the content does not reflect official policy and forms part of a disinformation effort to mislead and confuse the public. The AFP urged citizens to verify information only through official government and AFP channels. It also called on the public to avoid sharing unverified or AI-generated content from questionable sources. This is Marian reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Marian.
DWDD National News.
Moreover, Malacanang said the 2026 General Appropriations Act explicitly prohibits the politicians from participating in the distribution of cash and other forms of financial assistance, a safeguard the palace described as the first in the national budget. Executive Secretary Rofh said the restriction is contained in a general provision of the 2026 GAA and will be strictly enforced. Recto added that they will follow those guidelines. He also emphasized that the said similar safeguards were not included in previous budget.
DWDD National News.
On the other hand, the inner busway lane along EDSA from Rojas Boulevard to Orange has resumed normal operations. The Department of Public Works and Highways finished the asphalt overlay within the original timeline under the EDSA Rehabilitation Project. Transportation Secretary Giovanni Lopez said the completion of the project helped ensure smoother and faster travel for bus commuters, particularly during the post-holiday surge in ridership. He further credited DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon for completing the repairs on schedule. Lopez reiterated that the inner lane of the EDSA busway remains strictly reserved for authorized passenger buses.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
And some information from Beth Tanyete about former NPA member celebrates holiday season with family.
A former New People's Army member celebrated the holiday season peacefully with her family after returning to the government. Tanya Once spent the holiday in the mountain, facing fear, uncertainty, and hardship. Now she enjoyed safety, warmth, and joy with her loved ones. Her experience showed that choosing peace brings hope back to family and a hopeful future. This is Bethanieta reporting for the AFP Community News, one AFP for the stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Bethaniete.
DWDD National News.
The National Capital Region Police Office would deploy more than 18,000 officers to secure the Feast of Jesus Nazareno in Quiapo, Manila on January 9. NCRPO Director Major General Anthony Aberin said the deployment includes 15,946 officers for area and route security and 2,266 personnel who would serve as an augmentation force. He said the deployment of personnel would begin as early as Tuesday evening, with full deployment eyed on the Wednesday. Alberin added they are working with local government units, religious groups, and other concerned agencies to ensure the peace and order during the religious observance.
DWDD National News.
The Philippine National Police is closely monitoring the situation at the United States Embassy in Manila and other critical areas for possible protests following the United States military operations in Venezuela. PNP Acting Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nertatis Jr. said the police units are on standby to monitor potential mass demonstrations at sensitive locations and ensure that these remain orderly and peaceful. He added that police units, especially in Metro Manila and other urban areas, are monitoring the situation in their respective areas and ready to respond to any eventuality. The U.S. military launched a large-scale military operation against Venezuela last January 3, involving airstrikes and ground action reportedly aimed at dismantling narcotics trafficking and criminal networks linked to the Venezuelan government.
Armed Forces Radio Report.
Let us hear more updates from Ferdy about AFP chief sets for guiding attitudes at first 2026 flag ceremony.
Good day to you, Rofh. Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. led the AFP's first flag-raising ceremony for 2026 at Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City yesterday. In his message, he urged personnel to embrace gratitude, forgiveness, excellence, and hope as guiding attitudes for the new year. General Browner called on troops to give their best in every task and to forgive the past grievances to move forward stronger as an institution. The ceremony brought together officers, enlisted personnel, and civilian employees to mark a unified start to 2026. This is Ferdy Blues reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ferdy.
DWDD National News.
The Philippines expressed concern over the evolving events in Venezuela and its impact on peace and stability in the region, as well as on the rules-based international order. The Department of Foreign Affairs urged the concerned parties to restore peace and order in Venezuela and promote the safety of all the people, including the 74 Filipinos living in Venezuela and the surrounding countries. The DFA issued the statement following the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife by American Special Forces to face trial in the United States for alleged narco-terrorism. The country stressed the relevant principles of international law, including the independence and sovereign equality of the state.
DWDD National News.
The Philippine National Police said it supports tighter measures against motorcycles using open pipes and illegally modified mufflers to promote road discipline among riders. PNP Acting Chief Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nertatis Jr. directed the Highway Patrol Group and all police regional officers to strictly enforce existing laws and local ordinances on illegal vehicle modifications. He added that uniform implementation will be emphasized to avoid selective enforcement. During the New Year's festivities, the National Capital Region Police Office intensified its operations against individuals who used open pipes and modified mufflers to prevent excessive noise, maintain public order, and ensure peaceful celebrations.
DWDD National News.
Domestic tourism recorded a notable performance nationwide during the long Christmas break. The Department of Tourism reported robust visitor turnout in key destinations from mid-December to the end of the holidays, emphasizing local travel as a vital pillar of the Philippine tourism industry. Boracay Island logged the highest arrivals at 180,745 tourists from December 15 to 28, 2025. The region also welcomed cruise passengers during the holidays. Meanwhile, Baguio City remained a top holiday draw in the Cordilleras, recording 117,137 visitors from December 15 to New Year's Eve, attracted by its cool climate, Christmas lights, and seasonal sound and light shows.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
That concludes today's broadcast, and thank you for your continued support, particularly to our viewers on our AFP Radio DWDD's official Facebook page. Join us again tomorrow for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rofh Suzon-Abay for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.